Hello. We are back after a couple months break for no longer STRANGEalong, but now we are here for, I've got the wrong book with me, STRANGEalong. We have all, as I assume most of you have, over the last month been reading Strange the Dreamer. As you can see, India down there is reading the last 20 pages as we speak.
I can see that she's got her hand like over her mouth, like something really
Honestly,
dramatic.
I'm so ready to just jump back in when we get to spoilers because it's going to be amazing. But very, very briefly, for anyone who is here who hasn't read the book, if you're just here for the lols and shits and giggles, this book is about Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian and has always known about this city called Weep, which isn't actually its true name. Its name was stolen from everyone's minds how many years ago. And he has always been fascinated by this, but has never had the opportunity to experience it, know anything about it. It's very much a lost city. And then all of a sudden, an opportunity arises and all of his questions begin to be answered. And it's fantastical and beautiful. And I love it. And I feel like we will get to spoilers, but
Not spoiler free for the first however long until India finishes it, basically.
We will be spoiler free for a bit. And also, well done for finishing it. And
Not
Christy, I disown you. Rude.
Chris, please.
Rude.
Please.
That's heartbreaking.
But on that note, shall we start with starting off non-spoilery ratings and thoughts? If you would like to start, Ro.
Hello, I am Ro. This is a reread for me. I first read it in, I think it was May 2018. I first read Strange. And I read it on audiobook the first time, and I actually couldn't resist rereading it on audiobook again. I would highly recommend the audiobook upon reread for anyone who hasn't tried it. Even if you think you just don't like audiobooks, it's a great audiobook. Spoops is currently having technical difficulties.
Yeah, there we go. We tried.
We tried, but her Wi-Fi and data is just not working.
Just not cooperating. Hopefully she can appear in the comments and give some thoughts, but I don't know whether she will. We'll see.
Strange is, I gave it 5 stars when I first read it. It's still a 5-star. I mean, most of the time I don't tend to change ratings anyway, but I loved it even more upon reread. Like seeing all the foreshadowing, knowing what happens at the end, obviously, and just the different parallels between, you know, Sarai and Laszlo, and just the war between the gods and the citizens of Weep, and the writing.
Yeah.
It's just chef's kiss. Like that, it's almost nothing else like it. Like for me personally, it's just insane. I love the characters. Like, you hate all the right characters, you love all the right characters at different points. Like all the different other gods spawn, Minya, Ruby, Sparrow, everyone. I feel like it's hard to explain on a reread my how much I love it, but it's hard not to say anything then. Like, but it's so good.
I completely agree. It's similar. It was reread for me. I read it almost exactly the same time as you did when I first read it. I think like a month earlier or something. And when I first read it, I had only been reading since like August the previous year. So I hadn't been reading very long at all.
Are you serious? Same.
We're going to discuss this later. Not right now. But yeah, I'd only just got into reading, so I had read quite a lot of YA fantasy, but no adult fantasy. This was like my first adult fantasy, and I found it so hard to get through. I loved every second of it, but I could do like maximum 50 pages at a time because the writing is very lyrical. There's a lot of complexity, and I found it really tough. Now that both it's a reread and I'm much more familiar with adult fantasy, all of that was taken out with all the great stuff of the language and characters, and I was just like, it's so good. I'm also just dying because I've read the last 300 pages of it today. So that's too much to read in a day. I'm not okay.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I agree completely. The foreshadowing, oh my god, I use orange sticky tabs for foreshadowing or like shocking moments. And I don't think I've ever had so many so close to the beginning of the book. But some of them, and I'm not going to say why, I can't talk about until after we've read Muse.
Muse, yeah.
So I'm going to stay very quiet, but can we just... I like this book.
You can see like a little trend of them.
You can see all the pink. You can see all the pink in little clusters for certain scenes. But I feel like quite a fun comparison is the first time I read it. It's the first book I ever tabbed, and I thought that was a lot of tabs, and I'm just quite appreciating.
Oh my god, it's different.
Oopsie.
That's really nice though that you like tab them like every time you read, and then you can like see the difference.
Yeah, my
Is it
yes,
a
paperback.
Is it a UK one? Like the
US.
original? Oh, I thought so.
That's the US paperback.
I know the UK one now is like a pale one.
Yeah, my one is like what India's reading.
Yes, the one that India's got, yeah. I was just wondering.
Also, it's definitely adult. It's not YA. Yeah. I don't feel like it reads as YA at all. I feel like it has some of the like.
I feel like it's kind of in between. I would say.
I feel like it has some of the like plot momentum that YA does, like some of the fast-paced things. I'm just loving watching India.
Yeah, she was like,
yeah. So I can see bits like that, but I feel like overall, it's too slow for YA. It's too like thoughtful. I don't know. It just wouldn't work for me. Anyway, Katie, thoughts? We've just
yeah. So I gave it 5 stars as well, and it was also a reread for me. And I can't remember the first time I read it. It was probably 2019 sometime, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it on reread. And there's just something about it, like it's so kind of almost whimsical in a way, and it's like that discovery. And I think like before the first time I'd read it, I'd heard about it like on BookTube, and people said like go into it not knowing much, and I think that was really cool. And you're just kind of discovering like the mysteries of Weep with these characters, and it's just like it just reminds me of that like magical childhood. Like I remember watching like films like Stardust and Inkheart, and it just gives me like that kind of magical feeling. I don't know. And also I really love all the characters, and being myself, I especially love one of the villain characters.
I knew you would say.
Yeah, that's not remotely surprising.
Yeah, I think they're one of the best like villains in any books. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
And that's what I'm thinking of.
Well, I'm trying to be vague because it's like non-spoilery.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's the character I'm thinking of, I feel like I don't love them in Strange, but in Muse, the development just like skyrockets, and then I love them. I feel like if I'm being the right person.
Yeah, you probably are. Yeah. I can guess from based on who gets more development in Muse.
Yeah.
But actually there's another character as well who like one of Laszlo's kind of friends who I really like. But yeah, I mainly like Sarai and her family. I won't say like anymore because it's spoilery, but I especially love their like whole story.
It's a really odd one to talk about without spoilers, because what I would consider spoilers for most books versus this one is really different.
Yeah,
I was really careful before I first read it to make sure I knew
Yeah.
absolutely nothing about it, and it was the best decision I ever made. Now whenever I see someone talk about it and give a synopsis, I'm sat there like, shut up, let people read it themselves, because people give a synopsis to like the 200-page mark.
Oh no.
Shush, quiet. I have to wait.
Sometimes they do that in their own synopses as well. Like it'll tell me something on the back of the book, and I'm like,
at the back of the book just like tells you most of the plot.
Yeah.
See, I've always thought the synopsis for Strange was so unbelievably vague. Or maybe it was just I didn't read most of it.
I always think the best like synopsis to give is like it follows Laszlo, who's like this librarian who goes to this mysterious city called Wheat to like discover its secrets.
And that's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Not what any of the secrets are.
Like Darian's got it right. Explain nothing. And
I mean,
really...
in a way, the kind of book is vague. Like it's not vague, but it just gives you that feeling of like.
I feel it definitely drip feeds you.
Yeah. There's no like big reveal moments, or if there are, you've not been reading closely enough.
Yeah,
because like not as like a criticism, but like everything is given to you.
It's like peeling back the layers.
Yeah. Like and obviously it's easier to know. Yeah,
I was just thinking that's Shrek.
Like Shrek.
I find this really interesting because I love the concept, I love the romance, but I've seen quite a few people saying like they don't buy into the characters, they really don't buy into the romance. I first read and second read fell in love with Laszlo like literally 2 pages in, and don't understand how you wouldn't. Like, I'm not saying, oh, you should do any of that malarkey, but how? Like, he's the most endearing, cute thing. Like, he just keeps walking into walls with books.
He's a soft boy.
He's such a soft boy. I love him.
I said this to you as well, Maddie, but I remember saying, it was in the group chat actually. I do agree with like not buying into the romance at first. I do remember upon first reading it, I didn't quite. It almost felt a little bit too insta-lovey for me at first, but upon reread, I like fully was like, because I guess I was savoring it a bit more as well. I was reading it slower. The fact that they do actually not, I guess, I mean, they don't just like start kissing straight away. They do like meet and talk a few times and then blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not like upon remembering, it felt like they just, they just got together. But like upon read, I bought into the journey of them a lot more.
See, I think that's interesting because I was almost a little bit the opposite. Like, I didn't really think that much about the relationship the first time I read it, but I think this time, I wasn't quite as invested in like Laszlo and Sarai. Although I really love them like separately as characters, so it doesn't like bother me or anything. Like, I like their relationship, but I feel like it just wasn't. It's not the thing that I read the book for, if that makes sense.
That's true, though. Yeah, I think it's an addition.
I agree. I'm trying to be really vague because I don't even want to say who the main couple are because
I'm sorry,
I don't know if you have on that yet. The reason I'm trying really hard not to is because I've never considered that spoiler until earlier. Ro and I mentioned it, and Indy was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's not obvious from the beginning." Cool.
Indy, what? They get together? How?
So I'm trying to be even vague about that until we get onto spoilers. Though we are like 10-15 minutes in, so we're starting to get spoiler territory.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's insta love, and also, this isn't a spoiler. It's a very specific moment in the book where this is not a spoiler, they look into a mirror that shows them their auras, and it very specifically says the colour that they show is halfway between lust and love. It's not meant to be this pure, undying love 2 seconds in. That's the point very specifically made. Like, not everyone, obviously people are on a spectrum, but a lot of people will look at someone and be like, yeah. Like, that is not uncommon and not insta-love. And I feel like there is no pretense of this. This is 2 people who have never experienced anything, finally finding someone and just rolling with it. And also, they are so attracted to each other in terms of their intellect and their thoughts and all of that. For me, I'm with Lauren. I was dead on the floor the second they met. Like, I love them together.
I think it's kind of like instant chemistry.
But that happens. I feel like Insta-love's got this really bad name because in a lot of way books, these people literally lock eyes and like are getting married, and it's like, okay, calm down. But it's not uncommon to have instant chemistry with someone.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't mind insta-love like really that much as a trope. I think as long as the relationship then gets developed. That's what I tend to like.
Yeah, I feel like Laini Taylor does this a lot because she did it in Dosab as well. She's like, it's love, but they were in love before as well, so it's fine.
And this as well, it's burning curiosity of 2 very short characters. That is exactly what it is. That is summed up beautifully.
I was gonna say, sorry, Maddie.
No, go on.
I was gonna say that's the thing, that they're very like sheltered. So obviously, I feel like the first time you see someone that you're attracted to, you're gonna go a bit wild.
I love that. The thing is like people say like, oh, it's not realistic and blah blah blah, but like not to. I don't know if I'm just really sappy, but because I'm in a very good relationship, I kind of project my own relationship onto characters. Because I love my fiance so much. When I see like really good relationships, I'm like, oh my god, it's like me and Jordan. But, like me and Jordan, like when we first met, it was literally instant. Like there was no, I deleted, Tinder, blah blah blah, as the day I met him because I was just like, it happens. It happens in real life. Fantastic. I will die on this hill.
Yeah, exactly. And there are definitely some moments of insta-love in books which you just have your head in your hands like, really? But I feel like there is, even if this was insta-love and you don't have insta-love, the way the chemistry is built up between them, like, partway through, I don't see how you could question how beautiful it is.
I think it also, I think for me, like, getting annoyed by insta-love depends on the kind of situation of what the character's actually doing about that love. Oh, she finished.
Have an India. Are you okay?
I'm not okay.
Let's the spoilery.
Right, spoilers. Time up. If you've not read it, goodbye. Spoilers. Go. Are you all right?
No, what the heck just happened?
Because also, just for context for people watching, Spoops and Inju, the only two who haven't read it before, so we've all been waiting to see them die.
I'm actually like speechless. 5. Oh my god, 5 stars for sure.
Correct. Thank you.
It couldn't be any less. Oh my goodness. Oh, there was so many emotions in those last like 30 pages. Like that was an absolute roller coaster. I can't even process it.
Okay,
God,
so points we've had so far of contention. Do you like the characters or did you not feel attached to any of them?
Oh no, I love the characters.
Cool. Number 2, do you think it's insta-love or do you think it's like a beautiful relationship?
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad we all agree.
Oh my god. They're all... It was like, wait, so we can say spoilers now?
Yeah, we were waiting for you to finish, now we're just going for it.
At the end where her eyes are open, so he closes them by kiss. Oh! Honestly, I could have cried. That was just too sweet.
It literally made me cry thinking about it. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
And like the way that she describes her falling, I was almost gone. Like the tears were so close.
It was like, because she's weightless. I think the chapter's called Weightless or Weightlessness.
Yeah.
She's obviously falling through the air weightless, and he's talking about how him using the Mezathium is like a weightless feeling. And I was like,
no, it's too much.
Sorry, this is just too funny.
sorry,
I mean, Spooks gave it 4, so, but yeah, no, it's just, their relationship is the most beautiful thing. Yes, it's a cute relationship, all of that, but it's the way Laini Taylor writes it. I do not know where her words come from.
The heart.
But it's it is the only author who writes fantasy that part of me just goes like, she's experienced this. She is definitely not human, and she is definitely writing out what she's seen, and we're all just believing she's human. Like, there is just no way she can describe things in that way.
Oh my god.
And then be made up.
It's gorgeous.
How?
The imagery she uses is, I don't know where these things come from in her brain, but they're absolutely beautiful. Like, she's such a good writer.
She is phenomenal. Like, I'm not even going to attempt to pick out favorite quotes because we will be here for 5 hours.
God, yeah. The way Laszlo speaks to her and like the way he describes her, and I'm like, oh.
And she's there like, and like, oh my god, words. She says like, oh, I'm a nightmare, and he's like, well, you're the least hideous nightmare. It's like, I'm not okay. Oh, okay.
It's like entirely horrible demon or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, right. I feel like we need some structured thoughts instead of just oohing over
just like,
Laszlo and Dry. Not that I'm capable of anything else having just finished this book. But one thing I would be really interested to hear. What do you think is going to happen in Muse?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I want to know theories.
Because I feel like how are we like Ro? How do they pronounce the evil one's name?
Thion.
Minya?
No, the girl.
Oh, Minya.
Oh, Minya.
Minya. Okay. I was like,
Are you talking about Minya or Thion?
I was talking about Minya.
Yeah.
I thought she was talking about Minya, yeah, but she India the other day was like, is it Thion on her sprints? And I was like, yeah, it's Thion. So sorry, I thought you were talking about Thion.
Oh no, yeah. Minya. Okay.
Yeah.
I have before I say anything else, her character I think is written so well, because when there's like, you know, that scene where she's like reliving how she had to save them, and she's constantly saying they're all I could carry or something like that. That broke my heart. Like, the way she's written it, you totally understand why she is the way she is, but what she's doing is still awful. But I think that's Laini Taylor's done that so well. I can't.
You're gonna love Muse.
I'm scared for what she's gonna make Sarai do.
I know. I remember being so pissed off at her because of like everything she does to Sarai up till then, and has control over her. But also, it's so hard because you can understand her. That's the worst part about it. Is like you understand the reasons why, but you hate it.
Yeah, I think that the whole thing with everyone's. Well, basically every character, even the bad things they do, you can understand why they're doing them. It's such a mindfuck. Like trying to just be like
Errol Fane. Oh my god!
Very interesting.
That's just fascinating. But what I find most interesting about that, other than him being a fantastic character, is the way you see it through. Sorry, I thought it said through Strange. I was like, please leave. I'm so concerned for you if you're 70% of the way through right now. But the way that you see Errol Fane's, like the reveals about him through Laszlo's perspective, and Laszlo having to really come to terms with like, does the good outweigh the bad? Is this understandable, or is he just a brutal person who I shouldn't have anything to do with? And like, it's just fascinating and so well developed and so interesting. And also, I literally just spent the whole book being like, Errol Fane, hug your fucking wife.
No.
Oh my god, Azarine needs a hug.
Oh,
that poor woman, but the poor man as well.
That poor everyone, honestly.
Poor
everyone.
But then when Laszlo takes Sarai back up and Errol Fane cries for like the first time, and he's just sat there sobbing. I was like, oh god. I feel like if I hadn't been reading that on camera, I would be sobbing. But because I was aware of people watching me, I was like.
I remember I didn't cry like any time on reread, but the first time I read it, because I'm not really a crier, but the first time there was one scene, I can't remember exactly which one it was, with Errol Fane and Sarai. I think it's when they like first meet, and I was crying then, because I think sad things don't make me cry, but emotional reunions tend to be the things that like me.
The thing is, they've not met in Strange, Katie.
Oh.
He does see her in,
he sees her,
yells. But the look on his face, like the shock on his face when he sees.
Maybe I'm remembering a scene from Muse then.
Yeah. The scene that really got me is when Laszlo when Laz was explaining to Errol Fane and Azarine, and I can't remember the name, but Errol Fane's mum, that Sarai is alive, and the mum Sarai's grandma, I guess, was instantly like, oh my god, she's alive. Like, couldn't care less that she's God's born. Just like, my grandchild is alive.
Yeah.
Like, just, you're there, like, all these families are so conflicted. No one knows whether to be happy or to be distraught or to be terrified because it's their children, but also their worst nightmare come true.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. It's so good.
Oh my god.
Also, to answer this, I would say give Muse a go. It's very different tone.
Yeah.
It's much more action-y than, like, slow lyrical thinging. But at the same time, if you don't like the characters, I don't know.
In a weird way, it's almost, like, darker. Like, almost border... Not horror, but, like, I don't know what the, like, genre is sort of between fantasy and horror. I don't know if there's a name for it. But, like, the kind of... Like, it's not grimdark, but it's like a bit sort of almost more not quite spooky. I just there's something I'm trying to describe, but I can't quite.
It is definitely darker. I feel like partially because so much of the first book is through Laszlo's whimsy and his want for everything to be beautiful, and we know by the end of the first book that truly nothing is, and so then it really leans into that much more negative and dark side of things because his whole view of what we could be, this unseen city, this beautiful thing, none of that is true, and he knows that now.
Yeah.
So that whole perspective does shift.
Yeah,
like all the dream scenes of his version of Weep.
Okay, right. No, the dream scenes, I cannot cope with the fucking dream scenes. I just sit there like squeeing the whole way through. I can't. I was sat there on my sprints today, just like, I just have like these 20-page chunks of pink tabs every time they're in a dream. I cannot cope. It's too
When he
cute.
takes her to the wingsmith tent
and
they choose their wings. Oh my god. I couldn't deal with it.
The dream scenes.
The dream scenes.
Oh, and they're so beautifully written as well. Like that's because you totally feel like you're in that dream almost. Like the way she writes it's so dreamlike. Oh, she's amazing, that woman.
Like, in a way, the whole book feels like you're reading a dream. Like it's very
yeah.
It really does.
Every time that like Laszlo would like crush a moth by accident, I'd be like, "Stop! Get back!"
No, I green tabbed a certain scene because it was the funniest thing in the world. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I've green tabbed a lot of funny scenes because green means funny. Oh, where is it? This is going to annoy me now. This is so annoying, but it's when he smooshed the moth. It's when he smooshed it and he's like, that was my favourite moth. Don't say that, the other moths will hear you. I promise I won't smoosh this one. I was like, you fucking dork, I love you. Like, he's so cute.
There is some bits of like really witty dialogue that I really appreciate. Like some people's back and forths. I'm just like,
yeah. Bruiser and like the other Tizer Kane are like quite
I love Bruiser, honestly.
And Calixte, I love Calixte.
Yes. Love her.
Such a good like cast of characters.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't even realize because you focus so much on like Laszlo and Soraya, and then also the Godspawn, but then and all the Tizer Kane and it's like, oh my god.
So many. I feel like I've not, for some reason, on this read kept all the characters straight in my head because I know one of the Frangi and one of the Tizer Kane, I don't even say that, get together, and I can never remember which two it is. There's two women who are together by the time they're doing their journey, and I can never keep in my mind which two it is.
I think it is Calixte.
Is it Calixte and Ruza?
I think it's Ruza,
Yes, pretty sure.
Because like that's a big thing when they're traveling, and then you obviously stop focusing on those characters a lot more once you get to Weep. And so by that point, I'm like, I always want to remember which pairing it is, and I never can. And it's very annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's mentioned the bracelet as well with the moon.
Oh, the moon is a bracelet. Yeah.
But it's then when like his master Hurricane or whatever his name is like in the dream, like, oh, did you give her flowers? And he's like, no, I wouldn't do that. And she's like, oh, you gave me the moon.
Yeah.
I can't. Zara, that sounds right.
Oh, Zara.
Then you stop focusing on them on like page 200, and then I just forget. I
would like to talk about how the fact that when I first read this, before we get to Weep and we meet like Soraya and Soraya and him meet, that I thought Laszlo were going to be gay.
Yeah, same.
100%. So much so, yeah. That energy was there.
There's so much tension.
I'm still convinced by the end of this book that Sion's kind of into Laszlo and can't cope with it.
The
way he acts around him, I'm like, this is just sus. I'm sorry.
It's such a
but it's sus.
But Laszlo's always, like, especially near the beginning of the book, he's like, the golden godson, look at him there shining in the sun.
It would have been a 5 out of 5 if that was true.
I think maybe that's why I didn't buy into the romance with Soraya and Laszlo immediately, because I was like, I thought this man was gay.
Honestly, it does read like that is a direction it could go in. It feels like the typical enemies to lovers, like unsure, unrequited vibes. It really does.
Yeah.
But once in my life, I'm glad it's not gay because Laszlo and Soraya are the best thing to ever grace this planet. So
I do agree. But it was just so funny. Like, India, did you find that when you first read it?
Yes. Yeah, because that was like, I was reading that part and then in the group chat, Spoops had said, oh, I'm just not really shipping Laszlo and Soraya. I was like, Laszlo and Soraya? What? I was so confused and I was like, oh.
Right.
Yeah, I do think Fan's a very interesting character though, like in himself.
Oh yeah.
100%. Again, that's one I'm really excited to reread Muse for because there's a lot more focus on Sion and Muse, and the way his character develops is fascinating.
Yeah.
But also, like, obviously, he wants to be this living legend. He wants to be remembered, But then there's also lines of like, oh yeah, the only reason he went with the delegation is to escape his parents. Like, other than that, he has no interest in being here. And it's just like, can someone give this boy a hug?
Yeah, I feel like just every character needs a hug.
Everyone needs a hug.
It's just seriously. Where Laszlo sees him getting like whipped, was it getting whipped by his father or punched by his father or something like that? And I was just like, oh, it all makes sense now. And then whenever he does anything bad, that's all I can think about is that scene. And I'm just like, oh, I'll let you all.
Yeah, truly. Also, this is such a Laini Taylor thing. She does this in Dosab as well. She'll just like put you in a character's perspective and not tell you who or where or what the hell is going on. Yeah. And you just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what's going on now? Where are we?
Yeah. One thing I'd be really interested to know from India, because obviously on a reread, I don't remember how I felt the first time. Had you figured out that Laszlo was going to be what he was before the reveal? Had you got that at least like figured a bit before or not?
Only try to think when I got it. I think I got it quite late on. I think it was quite close to the reveal by the time I was like, oh wait, is that gonna be a thing? But it might have been, it might even have been when he what was it? What was it? Someone said something to him. I can't remember what it was.
I think from what I remember the first time I read it, it was like when Theon said something to him.
I think it's after he uses his spirit. And, like,
I think that's
Theon used the spirit. I think that was when I clicked. But then when you reread though, it's so she like literally puts so many things in like
really
on.
See, I want to reread it now to see like if I
because it's literally the day they walk into Weep, he's like, oh, I touched the metal and my hand's gone blue. I mean, no, it's the first time you meet him and he's like, oh, I was grey as a baby, and it's like, what colour is grey close to, Laszlo? Put two and two together there, mate. Thank you. Like literally, you're sat there like, yes, because you were blue. That is why you are grey.
Yeah.
Like,
see, as soon as they revealed that, I was like, oh, like how did I not get that? I was just like, oh, he's a really baby. Like,
I feel like she does that phenomenal thing of this reveal that kind of catches you off guard, but then when you take a second, you're like, oh, actually, that was so written in. Like that's not out the blue. She's not just throwing this in for dramatic effect. Like,
but she's so good at making it quite subtle if you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like little things that you could just read over that sentence and not really take anything from it.
Yeah,
but
it's like something's weird, that the fact that he can touch it and stuff comes off and everyone else touched it and didn't. But like you kind of don't really think too much about it. You just go, cool.
Maybe it's just dirty.
There is something I cannot say till the next live, and it is killing me. I might at the end just kick you out for a second. Just like once we're done. But like, because I can't even, I'm gonna be really vague. There is foreshadowing to something in this, which I'm astonished I didn't didn't notice when I first read the book. And it's from like page 3. And I'm just here the whole time, like, I want to talk about it, but I can't till literally
wait,
read like,
as
the
in
last
it's in Strange the Dreamer.
Huh?
You can see it in Strange the Dreamer, but you don't find out until
the end
what could
of
it be?
It's oh my god, and there's so many references to it, and there's so many bits which you would completely just ignore until you've read the end of Muse, and then it's just like,
oh my god, I need to read Muse, like no.
I'm not gonna lie, I might just pick it up straight away. I'm not sure I'm gonna wait. I might just pick it up straight away.
I'm going to the shops tomorrow, so I feel like I might have to get myself a copy and just start it straight away.
This is actually explained in Strange. It's because he was away from Mazathian.
Yeah.
It's the contact with that gave him the blue colour. So because he was taken away from that as a young child, he lost his colouring. Basically, why that is the case is not explained. I don't think ever, as far as I remember.
Oh, yeah, because as soon as he touches it, his skin starts to change again, doesn't it?
Yeah. There you go.
I think you need... Sarai says it at some point, like, she explained it as, I guess, exposition, but she's like, you need to keep in contact with Mazathian to give the blue color or whatever, or it's when they're focusing on Sarai anyway.
Yeah, that does happen. Yeah. Oh yeah, right. It's explained in Muse as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't say anything, but
Yeah, don't say anything because I want to be surprised, but I need to read it.
You do. It's so good.
India, whatever you do, don't look in the private chat.
Okay. Oh, don't do that to me.
Oh my god.
Easy to click on that.
It's because the reason I'm saying this is because I don't know whether it would apply to this person or not.
Whether to what?
But I don't know how to say this without spoilers. Because the foreshadowing is reliant on multiple things that you know for it to like hit, but I can't know if you know those things, so I'm just gonna shut up now. You have to reread Darian, it's necessary. Honestly. Just I cannot wait to reread it.
You know, with yeah, I feel sorry for me too, Christy. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You will as soon as you read Muse, I will tell you everything. Oh my god, I don't have my phone next to me, Daria, but I'll DM you after.
Yeah, you know how his like power obviously is like the same as his dad's.
Gases, yeah.
Yeah, I was so sure someone was gonna have that power because the amount of times they mentioned it, and obviously they need to see the rest of like the Citadel or whatever. So I was like, someone's gonna have this power, but who?
Yeah.
So, I don't think it ever clicked that it'd be Laszlo.
No, to be fair. Go on.
I was gonna say, what do we think of like the powers of the Godspawn?
Oh yeah, the power.
I really liked them. My one question, and this is very much spoilery, is the whole way through they made a whole point of like you don't necessarily inherit your parents' power. And then at the end, that because Laszlo had the same power as Scathis, he had to be descended from Scathis. So how does that work? Do you either have a new power no one's ever had or get your parents? Because if your power has to have, like, if your parents can only hand, I just felt like that didn't make sense as a like, oh, he has Scathis' power and therefore he's related to Scathis, whereas none of the rest of them had their parents' power.
Yeah. Maybe it's like the kind of whole recessive and dominant gene allele.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, it might be like you can get a random power or you can get your parents' power. But it's unlikely that if someone gets a power that a parent has had, that person's then not their parent.
Yeah, because I guess there's only 6 powers, because there's only 6 parents, aren't there? There's 3 men, 3 women. So I guess there are only 6 that could have been passed on. But I just feel like that's information that wouldn't be had. Especially as, do we know how long the Mazarthim were there before they were defeated? Wasn't it like 200 years?
It's like 2 centuries, yeah.
Yeah, but it was just the 6 of them plus all the kids that went missing. So there was never like generational stuff passed down.
Yeah.
Because my logic is, how and why do the humans of Weep know so much about them? Like, they seem to have a lot of knowledge about like how the powers pass down and like how they get their powers and all. I'm just not sure where that's come from.
I would say maybe Isagol, because she had obviously Errol Fane like under her spell. She just like talked shit the whole time, and he was always like right by her side. So maybe he just observed so much, and obviously he didn't then get it scrubbed from his memory. I feel like that's a logical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with him getting that power, I think it was just, for me, it was because it sounded like such a powerful, almighty, rare power that you could only have gotten it through being a child. Do you know what I mean? Like, compared to maybe other like smaller powers. I don't know. Yeah,
that may well be the case. I just feel like it went from no one has their parents' power to they have the parents' power and therefore it's their parents.
Yeah,
I feel like there's not an explanation between those two things, potentially.
Also, do you find out where all the other children went?
Yes.
I have no idea. I do not remember at all.
Because when she's, because it hadn't proper clicked. Yeah, it hadn't proper clicked to me like how many there was until she said.
Me neither.
Like there was only like 30 in that nursery. Where are the rest of them? I was like, where are the rest of them?
Me too. Honestly, the number of things I've forgotten about the series is just ridiculous. Like, so much of this, other than big plot points like obviously Laszlo is going to be blue and things like that, so much of it I didn't remember. Like, I think all I remembered was that there were dream sequences where they met, Laszlo's going to be blue, and then I remembered at the end that like Minya's controlling Sarai, because obviously that's like a big freaking deal. But that was kind of it. Also, India, having read the whole book, have you realised what the first chapter is telling you, or do you need to go back and reread chapter 1? Because you watched Sarai die in chapter 1.
Yeah. That's all I remember. All I remembered is that the blue girl fell from the sky, and I was like, which one of them is it going to be? But I was like, it's not going to be Sarai, it's going to have to be one of the other ones. Like, maybe it'll be Ruby, because that'd be really sad for...
That's what I thought. I thought it was Ruby the whole time. I was like, there's no way they're going to kill Sarai. They're literally making her such a character. Even when Laszlo in his head was like, oh, please not Sarai, like when he's on Rasselas, like going to...
I was like, it's not Sarai, don't worry.
I was like, it's going to be Ruby. She's good. And because it's underneath the plums as well. They say underneath the plums. I was like, it's going to be Ruby, and then it's Sarai, and I'm like,
I mean, but if you read that first chapter knowing it describes the cinnamon copper hair and all of this. She makes no attempt of hiding that it's Sarai.
Yeah.
Oh
you just don't twig.
Yeah. Does Ruby have red hair, or does she have brown hair?
Brown, I think, or at least the focus of the hair color is only ever on Sarai.
Yeah, because I think I just
the rest of them all have dark hair.
I think I assumed
it says the hair. It may not.
Because she's like fire.
So
I think
and the name like Ruby.
But
I think it says about the hair. It may not. I seem to remember it saying about the hair. No, it may not. It just says darkening hair.
Oh.
Maybe it is more vague.
More vague than we thought.
I always thought it said cinnamon.
I always thought it commented on the hair. Yeah, it breaks my heart.
Oh,
it's like Laszlo has finally got her, and then it's just like
it's the way she describes like Sarai like hugging Minya and being like, thank you so much, and it's like the cool flicker in Minya's gaze.
Yeah, I love it.
Literally, when she hugs her and says thank you, you instantly know that's not Sarai.
Yeah.
Does it say at the beginning?
It's like, we're going to play a game. I'm like, you little fucker, get out of there. But what it does say is her pockets are full of plums. You should click when she puts some of the plums and puts the rest of them in her pockets, I guess. But then you wouldn't remember something as small as that from the first.
Yeah, true.
On a very different tangent, my favourite moment in the whole book to do with plums is absolutely when Sorrow throws one at Ruby, and Ruby's like, is that it? Are you done now? And she's like, yes, it was a one plum wrap.
Oh my god.
I love that.
Yes, I just need to get it out of my system. We're fine now.
And there was that whole
sorry, you go.
I was going to say the whole dialogue with is it Drave and Laszlo, and the thing that he's like, I didn't say mushrooms. And then they keep going, and there was that whole conversation. He's like, I didn't say mushrooms or whatever it is.
When Bruiser and Laszlo are just absolutely screwing with him. It's brilliant.
So I was really glad that the conversation between Ruby and Sparrow like wasn't drawn out about Farrell. I didn't want there to be a whole thing about jealousy and blah blah blah, because I was like, oh my god, please. But then it was like so well just talked about, and Ruby was just like, he was just there and I was just there. We thought we were gonna die, and it's just like not that deep. Obviously it gets like, she realizes it maybe it is a bit deeper, and she does kind of want him to only want her, but I'm glad.
Which I like.
I also love Sparrow's like feeling of self-worth in that moment where Ruby's like, it's just because he was there, and then Sparrow's like, that means I definitely don't want him then if you'll just take the one who's there. Like if you would take me because I was there, then fuck my arm on him. I was like,
I love Sparrow.
Farrell even says to himself, I wouldn't go for either of them first, I'd go for Sarai first. Yeah. It's clearly in the book. Neither of you can have it.
I love Farrell though, but my thing I found in this book more than I first read it, what I found is I was getting so annoyed at Farrell and Sparrow and Ruby. I was like, stand up to Minya, please.
Oh my god.
Why is the only one? And I know they're terrified and they're under her thumb. But especially when Sparrow is like, oh, they're all like, oh, you know, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of Minya. And then Sparrow's there, like, obviously aware that Sarai is, and just leaves it. Why? Come on. Please.
Really
I feel like it's very that kind of like abusive, like household almost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like this as well. This is really interesting and very true.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting they were children, and then every now and again I'd remember and be like, oh my god, yes, well they are.
Well, it's like it says at the end that Minya stunted her growth because she put all of her motherly love into Greater Ellen to try and bring them up to help, and it's just
which is also beautiful. This is like I'm so torn with Minya because like I feel so horrible for that. I keep replaying that scene in my head where she's like, "It's all I could carry. They're all I could carry." I was just like, "Oh God."
Of the existing characters, obviously ignoring the gods who are like dead, of the existing characters, there is no true villain. Every single character has good and bad, and some act on that good or bad more, and obviously you root for people more, but there is no one who is just evil for the sake of evil.
Black and white.
Which is impressive to do.
Yeah. And also you think like if you were reading from like say Minya's perspective, she would be like the hero of her own story, even though she's kind of the antagonist of like Laszlo and Soraya, especially at the moment. Yeah. I think it's
but also I disagree with this. Like Soraya is 17 or 18. Laszlo's like 22.
17. Laszlo's
So like if it was YA, it'd be like seriously top end. I do agree with kind of new adult, but I feel like it reads more adult than YA.
I also disagree with the idea that character age necessarily denotes the
100%.
adult or young adult genre, I guess. I don't think that's correct because, well, obviously, Every Heart a Doorway, that's an adult series. It's about teenagers, but it's it's an adult series, I'd argue anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely adult. Yeah.
I feel like my thoughts on Strange and like Daughter of Smoke and Bone is it's like kind of I feel like adults can read it and enjoy it, but also I think teenagers could read it and enjoy it.
Oh yeah, like, it has huge crossover appeal, but then again, almost all adult fantasy does. Like teens can read Brandon Sanderson and enjoy it. Does not mean it's YA.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read Game of Thrones when I was about 14.
Exactly.
Maybe I shouldn't have. But oh well.
Oh my God, I can't get over it, guys. I can't process it.
I love that we watched your final stuff.
Yeah, I know. And at one point you're like reading it and you had your hand over your mouth, like.
That's because I just read the line, "The Muse of Nightmares was dead," and I was like,
I love as well, one of my favorite things Laini Taylor does, and this is in Dosab, this is in this, is both her book titles and chapter titles are so clear where they come from in the book. I love that.
Most of the chapters are actually in the chapter. Like, she'll see it.
She titles her chapters once she's written the book. She writes the book and then picks the chapter that she feels like sums it up and makes the title of the chapter.
That's a smart thing to do, I think.
Also, Soraya is 17. I looked it up. I knew she was anyway. And Laszlo, I'm pretty sure in the beginning of the book is 20. Like he's 20 at the beginning. Not the beginning, obviously he's young in the beginning. But when he's at the library, they come to find him, he's 20. So she's not 21.
They're probably 21-ish by the time they get there. It's like a year's trip, isn't it? Yeah. It's so good.
It's so good. I think she might be like, well, she's definitely one of my favorite writers of all time now. Like, just
yes,
just
I'm
so good.
So proud of making you read these.
I'm so happy you did.
This is probably more of a question to have in the next live show, but we'll probably do it in both. But I should be intrigued to get first feels because I'm pretty sure I know what everyone's answer is going to be. Dosab or Strange?
Strange.
Yeah, I feel like it's Strange.
Yeah, I feel like Dosab has massive nostalgia for me. So when I read it, I just, especially the first book, the other two I still love, especially the first book because it feels so familiar.
Yeah.
It's just pure nostalgia. I read it so close to falling in love with reading, and it was the first thing I truly fell in love with when starting reading. But I would never question that Strange is just fundamentally a better book.
It's just
I think that's
phenomenal.
Like everything I loved about Dosab, like the writing style and like the different settings and things like that, all those things that I loved about that, they were done in Strange but better. Like her writing had gotten so much more like it was already like it had amazing imagery and it was really beautifully descriptive, but it was just even better in Strange, I felt like.
Yeah. And I think the world building in Strange especially is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. And not confusing at all. I thought I would get lost, but it was absolutely fine.
really well laid out. She is, I don't know what, because she's not announced anything, but yes, she is. I'm on her Patreon and she talks about it a little bit. And to answer this, a potentially very unhelpful answer of no, because we finished doing that like 2 months ago. Sorry. We did that
go
first.
back and watch the live shows.
The live shows are still on my channel, so if you wanted to read them and watch the lives are still up. It's the same 5 of us. The Author Spooks isn't here today. But yeah, we started in November. We did November, December, January for those, and now we're doing March, April for these. April, May? What month
April,
is it?
May.
I think it's
No idea what month it is. Oh. Wait, you've read the prologue of her next book? Is that on her Patreon or something? I need to find that. Please tell me where to find that. Sorry.
I swear I remember her saying on her recent something on Instagram saying she's writing, but it's nothing to do with anything like not the same like worlds or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
so something new.
But anyway, I feel like we've probably covered most of the stuff we want to cover. So quick plug for what we're reading next. We will be reading Muse and Nightmares in May / in the next week, depending on our self-control.
Tomorrow.
And yeah, we'll be reading this. I don't know when the live show will be yet. It's undecided. Potentially, depending on when people can read it, like the last weekend of May.
I was going to say
doing
that.
it at the beginning of June, just because I'm posting. It would be a lot better for me because I'm going to have live shows on the 4th of June and I'm out all day on the 5th. And so I'm not expecting to be human on the 6th.
Yeah.
So 30th of May, 29th, 30th of May.
And I also feel like we should close the book on this before WHATEVER-YOU-WANT starts. Like, I feel like June just has to be dedicated to that, so we have to get
very true.
So yeah, slightly shorter time frame on this one than normal, but you've still got like 4 or 5 weeks, so plenty of time. And this one, you trust me, you'll race through. It's way quicker than Strange. But yes, this is what we're reading next, and we will do another live show. We'll be here again, and then we'll be very sadly out of Laini Taylor books to read, because however much I would love to do a read along of her first duology, you cannot get your hands on it for love nor money. Yeah, she had 2 books before Daughter of Smoke and Bone.
Yeah.
I'm Silk Slinger and Dream Dark or something. So
yeah, fairy stuff.
Yeah, fairy round books. Which I really want to read.
Which author shall we go on to next, guys?
No, I want a break. There was discussion of like a TJ Clune-along, and I'm like, I don't have enough time for this. That's too many books. That's too many books.
Oh my god, that would take the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah, he has so
books. Muse, for those asking, I've just seen the last page of it, and the ending of this book pisses me off no end, but that's a different thing. We'll get to that next time. It's 514 pages, so very slightly shorter than Strange.
What did you ending of Muse
pisses you off?
The very last line of Muse pisses me off.
Don't say that.
Just it's not for any valid reason, for a really petty reason.
What did you rate it?
Oh, 5. Oh, it's one of my favorite books.
So they're both 5 stars.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Someone's talking about sci-fi. I don't know what's happening. Oh, is she writing sci-fi? That does sound cool.
I would be really interested to read like a sci-fi from her, because I feel like you rarely get sci-fis which are very, very lyrical.
True.
I think as well, like some of the books kind of cross over.
I know which author we should do next. I have a good. If we want to even do another one.
I'm intrigued to see what you're going to say, but I'm also concerned because everything you read's huge.
No, Becky Chambers. Her books aren't even that long.
I really want to read those.
Similar, like, kind of nice writing style.
Can we start in July with Psalm for a Wild Bill?
Yeah, after.
Please. I need to do a Psalm for a Wild Bill live because I need to discuss this book forever.
Yeah.
I have no idea who this person is.
A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. You'll have heard of A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
I have heard of that, yeah.
India, I'll be with you, like not having read any.
I've only read Psalm. I've not read this either. But I really want to. It's on my list of books to read my series to read this year.
Some that we've actually not read.
Oh my
have
god,
a couple
that would
months
be
off,
so
start
exciting.
in July with Psalm, and then do August, September, October, November for the 4 books.
Yes.
I'm definitely down.
Yep. I'm there.
I guess it's decided primitively.
Well, good luck to Spoops. Apologies. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're really good books to discuss as well. Like, there's a lot of themes.
Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, cool. Right, so
plans.
next up, this. And then we might have some new plans being announced soon. Anyway.
We just can't help ourselves.
That is probably us for today, unless anyone has any final things they want to say before we sign off.
The audiobooks are good if you haven't tried them.
Yeah. Big fan of Steve.
Yeah, I am intrigued. It's one of those things, one day I'll probably just like listen to them, but I wanted to reread them and get the story.
Yeah, I might reread after with the audiobooks just to like, yeah. And then I'll see what I can pick up that I didn't the first time. But
the way that Steve West says like, he like breathes like Sarai, and I'm like, oh. It's great. It's so good.
I'm ready for this. Honestly, if I was going to get a tattoo of a book cover, it would be this. Like, no question, it would be this.
I am not going to. Okay, I am actually getting it on my sternum. I'm going to tell you.
That is so exciting. I'm so hyped.
When I can book it after exams as a treat.
Oh, nice. That is a good treat.
A very good treat. Anyway, we should probably go. But thank you so much to everyone for watching. Thank you, all of you guys, as always, for reading the books I keep making you read and liking them. So thank you, and we will see you all in about a month for Muse. That's what's next. Bye!
Bye!